Welcome back to another episode of SmoothBrainEDH, where we with the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. We've got another game with Doctor Who commanders to share with you all, so let's see what our players brought to the table. Our first player today is Cody on Ashad, the lone Cyberman. This Grixis deck is all about copying powerful artifacts to double up on game-ending threats. Up next is Matt on the partner pairing of the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler. This Jeskai deck is focused around the suspend mechanic, casting cards from exile for cheaper mana costs. Third is Sam on the partner pairing of the 9th Doctor and Clara Oswald naming green. This teamer deck is focused around powerful upkeep effects, trying to take as many upkeep steps as one can possibly take in one turn to accrue massive value. Last up is Seth on River Song. This Izzet deck is focused around deck manipulation, using River Song's unique ability to draw and tutor cards in interesting ways, while also punishing opponents for tutoring and scrying. We're about to hop right into the game, but before that, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content. We have links to our social media, public Discord server, Decklists, and our Patreon in the description. We're partnered with Dragon Shield. Check out our affiliate link in the description if you'd like to pick up any sleeves, tip boxes, or playmats. We also partner with Inked Gaming. Our affiliate link is also in the description for that if you'd like to make any custom playmats. Now, on to the gameplay.
It looks like Seth wins die roll, and he'll play his Temple of Epiphany, and he scries one to the bottom and passes to Cody. Cody plays Command Tower and passes. Matt will play a Marsh Flats, and he'll crack it for a Plateau. He'll pass the turn to Sam, who plays a Scalding Tarn, and he'll crack it for a Ketria Triumph, and then he passes to Seth. Seth plays Tap Steam Vents and passes to Cody. Cody plays his Swamp, and then he'll tap for 2 and cast Cybermat. The turn is then passed to Matt, and he starts off with a basic Plains, then he'll tap for 2 and cast Felwar Stone. The turn is then passed to Sam, and he'll play a Prismatic Vista and pass to Seth. Seth plays a Mountain and will cast River Song. Sam has a response, and he fetches with his Prismatic Vista. This finds Snow-Covered Island, and then River Song resolves, and then the turn is passed to Cody. He plays a Mountain, and then he'll move to combat, and he hits Seth with his Cybermat. There are no blocks, and so it gets +1/+0, so Seth takes 3. The turn is then passed to Matt, and he starts off with a basic island, and then he'll cast Rose Tyler, and then he'll cast Joyra's Time Bug. The turn is then passed to Sam, and he plays a Snow Mountain, and then casts the 9th Doctor. The Doctor is then sent sideways at Cody, who takes the 2 commander. The turn is then passed to Seth, and we get to watch him struggle to get a card off the bottom of his library. Then he'll play Training Center as land for turn. Then Cody gets bonked for another 2 commander. The turn is then passed to Cody, but on end step, he flashes in Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter. On his turn, he'll play Sulphur Falls and pass. On Matt's turn, he starts off by shocking in a Sacred Foundry. Then he'll tap for 5 and cast the 10th Doctor. Then he'll move to combat and swing Rose Tyler at Sam. The 10th Doctor trigger will exile a Flayer of Loyalties, and it'll be suspended with 3 counters on it. Then the turn is passed to Sam, who has 2 upkeeps. He'll then play a Snow Forest as land for turn on his first main, and then he'll tap for 4 and cast Bio-Waste Blob. He'll then move to combat and hit Seth for 2 commander, and then he passes to Seth. Seth stays on end step though to cast Telling Time. He'll look at the top 3 cards of his library, put 1 to his hand, 1 on the top of his library, and 1 on the bottom of his library. And then when he moves to his turn, he'll draw the card on the bottom of his library. He'll then play Storm-Carved Coast as land for turn, then he casts Magus of the Future. The turn is then passed to Cody, and he flashes an Ashad on end step. Misthopter trigger, and he plays Smoldering Marsh. Then he'll tap for 3 and cast Delete X's 1. This will deal 1 damage to each non-artifact creature and each player. The turn is then passed to Matt, but he'll stop on end step to activate the Time Bug to remove a counter from his Flayer of Loyalties. Then on his turn, it'll lose another counter, then he plays a Mountain as land for turn. Matt then moves to combat and swings Rose Tyler at Sam. Triggers. He'll resolve Rose Tyler's first, getting her a time counter. Then with the Doctor's ability still on the stack, he'll activate the Time Bug, which takes the last counter off Flayer of Loyalties, which casts it and puts it to the battlefield. When it hits the battlefield, he'll gain control of Rose Tyler, and she'll become a 10/10 with Trample and Annihilator too. Fortunately for Sam though, he already attacked with her, so the Annihilator doesn't trigger. Unfortunately for Sam though, he now goes up to 15 commander damage. And then the 10th Doctor exiles Deep Sea Kraken. Pretty good with only 3 time counters. The turn is then passed to Sam, and he starts off with the Avimaya. Then he'll pay 0 and suspend a Lotus Bloom. Oh my god, special guest appearance, it's a cat. Sam will then tap for 2 and cast Regrowth to get his Blob back to hand. Kraken trigger. The turn is then passed to Seth, and he'll play the island from the top of his library as land for turn. He'll then cast an Arcane Signet, Kraken trigger. Then he casts Conjurer's Bauble from the top of his library, missed Kraken trigger, and then he'll tap for 1 and cast Blasphemous Act. This also triggers Matt's Kraken, which will resolve before the Blasphemous Act resolves, so it's dead too. Cody also decides to respond by flashing in Wayfarer's Bauble, and then it'll finally resolve. The turn is then passed to Cody, and he'll start off with a Drowned Catacomb. Then he'll crack his Wayfarer's Bauble for an island, then he'll cast a Crypto Thrall and pass the turn. Matt starts his turn off with a Wooded Foothills, and he'll immediately fetch with it. Seth makes a comment about how as soon as River Song goes away, everybody starts fetching, and Matt will find a volcanic island. He'll then recast Rose Tyler, and then delve and cast Treasure Cruise to draw 3 cards. The turn is then passed to Sam, and he'll play another Snow Forest as land for turn. He'll then cast a 3 visits, and Seth points out, look, 3 for 3 tutors when she's gone, not cool guys. Sam will find a Taiga with this, then he'll tap for 5 and recast the 9th Doctor. He'll then immediately move to combat, and he'll hit Seth for 2 commander. The turn is then passed to Seth, and he'll draw and play the island we knew that was on top of his library, and then he'll recast River Song. The turn is then passed to Cody, and he'll start his turn off with another basic swamp, and then he'll tap for 6 and recast Ashad, and then the turn is passed to Matt. And he'll start off by tapping for 7 and recasting David Tennant. Matt will then move to combat, and he swings Rose Tyler at Seth. Doctor attack trigger, and it exiles Apocalypse with 3 time counters on it. The table kind of gawks at this for a little bit, and then Seth says, I take 2 commander. The turn is then passed to Sam. He's got 2 upkeeps, so his Lotus Bloom comes off suspend. Then he'll cast Sanctum of Shattered Heights. He'll then cast Bio-Waste Blob again, and then the 9th Doctor is turned sideways at Seth, and then he passes to Seth. But on end step, Seth will activate and sacrifice Conjurer's Bauble to put his Magus back on the bottom of his library, and then he'll draw it from River Song again. On his turn, he plays the Magus of the Future, and then plays Prismatic Vista. The turn is then passed to Cody, and he'll start off with a basic island, then he'll cast a Soul Ring, and then his Cyber Ship. The turn is then passed to Matt, and Apocalypse ticks down. He'll then immediately move to combat and swing Rose Tyler at Seth. And this is when the table finally realizes that Matt can stack the triggers to resolve the 10th Doctor's before Rose Tyler's, so she'll actually get 2 counters here. The 10th Doctor reveals Savine's Reclamation with 3 time counters on it, and then Seth will take 4 commander from Rose Tyler. Post-combat, Matt will suspend an Inevitable Betrayal, and then he passes the turn to Sam, who has 2 upkeeps, which means his blob count goes up to 4. Then on his first main, he'll play Trinzler Clock Tower as land for turn. Then he'll tap for 4 and cast Spark Double, and he'll have it copy the 9th Doctor. Then after this, and with the help of his Lotus Bloom, Sam's able to cast Clara Oswald. Sam will then move to combat, and he'll swing his original Doctor at Matt, and it just bounces off the 10th Doctor, and then his Spark Double will go at Seth, and Seth will take 3. Sam will then pass the turn, but Seth stops on end step and decides he doesn't like the Johan on the top of his library, so he'll force a shuffle by cracking his Prismatic Vista. This finds him an island, and then after shuffling, a Fairy Mastermind is revealed to the top, and he'll flash it in still on end step. Now on his turn, he'll play an Otawara as land for turn, and then he'll just pass the turn to Cody. Cody starts off by tapping for 2 and casting Feed the Swarm, targeting the original 9th Doctor, and he'll lose 3 life. Cody will then crew his Cyber Ship and then swing it at Sam for 8 damage. When it connects, Sam will put the top 2 cards of his library face down, and they're 2/2 Cybermen. The turn is then passed to Matt, and he immediately goes to combat, and he'll turn Rose Tyler sideways at Cody. 10th Doctor trigger will exile a Pippin with 3 time counters on it, and then Rose Tyler gets 4 more time counters herself. And Cody will just take the 8 commander. Matt then considers activating the 10th Doctor here to time travel 3 times. There's 2 reasons he decides not to. He's not really looking to Apocalypse this board, and there's also a blue player with tons of counter spells in his deck, with a full hand and 10 open mana, so most of them are probably not resolving. So he decides to just play it patient, and he'll pass the turn to Sam. And when Sam untaps, he'll get an additional upkeep from the 9th Doctor. Then Clara Oswald will get him a 3rd upkeep, which means after all these upkeeps, and he goes to his first main phase, he'll have 32 Bio-Waste Blobs. Ooh, I actually just had a mini panic attack, because I was like, wait, the 9th Doctor isn't on the battlefield. Bio-Waste Blob doesn't trigger. But duh, Claire's his commander too. Alright, he's good. So yeah, Mans just has 32s. That was weird to say. Oh yeah, and he'll wreck and rebuild Cody's Cyber Ship. Anyways, he'll move to combat, and he sees an Apocalypse with only 1 time counter on it. So he'll swing 3 of his 32 blobs at Matt, which is enough to kill him, and then he'll swing his Spark Double and his original at Cody, and Cody will super jump the 32. Sam will then just pass the turn after combat, and Seth will stop on end step to activate his Fairy Mastermind to make everyone draw a card. This is Sam's 2nd card, so Fairy Mastermind will trigger, and Seth draws a 2nd card. Then he'll activate it again and do the same thing, because this is Cody's 2nd card for the turn. And then Seth will move to his turn, where he plays an island, and he'll immediately tap it to cast a Soul Ring. Seth will then move to discard and discard a mountain, then pass the turn to Cody. Now on Cody's turn, he'll start off with Emery, Lurker of the Lock, and he mills 4 cards.
Liquid Metal Torque, Biotransference, Mountain. Razorlash Transmogrant.
Cody will then cast a Death in Heaven, and he makes Sam mill 2 cards and exile his graveyard.
Okay, there's a Esserton Vacation and a Sonic Resonator.
Then Cody will cast an Unwinding Clock. He'll then pass to Sam, and Sam will untap, and he gets 3 more upkeeps, which gets him to 256, 256, 256s. Oh my days. After this, Sam will move to his main phase and cast a TARDIS. Then he'll cast a Goshintai of Boundless Vigor, and then he'll move to combat. But at the beginning of the combat step, Seth will overload a Cyclonic Rift. Sam will respond by paying 1 to his Sanctum of Shattered Heights and discarding a Beseiju to kill Riversong. The Sea Rift then resolves, and Sam will go to his second main phase and cast the 11th Hour. And with its first ability, he will tutor the 6th Doctor to his hand. The turn is then passed to Seth, and Sam has to discard 2 cards on cleanup. On Seth's turn, he'll play an island from the top of his library, and then he'll cast a Consecrated Sphinx. Seth will then move to combat, and he swings 2 at each of his opponents, and then he'll pass the turn to Cody. Cody starts off by recasting Ashad, then he'll cast a Soul Ring, then he'll recast Emery, and he mills 4 cards.
Island, Dragon Skull, Herald of Anguish, Universal Intelligence, Surveillance.
He'll then recast the Unwinding Clock he had, and then he'll drop Baleful Strix and draw a card upon ETB. And remember, every time one of Seth's opponents draws, he draws 2. The turn is then passed to Sam, and his 11th Hour will tick up, making him a 1/1 human that reduces the cost of doctors. Oh yeah, and he gets a food token too. Sam then plays Snow Island as land for turn, then he drops the 6th Doctor. He'll then cast his Sanctum of Shattered Heights, and the 6th Doctor will trigger, making a non-legendary copy of it. Then he'll do the same thing with Goshintai of Boundless Vigor. He'll then pass the turn, but on end step, Seth will do more Fairy Mastermind shenanigans. He'll only activate it once, but between the Fairy Mastermind itself and all of his opponents drawing a card, and the Consecrated Sphinx, Seth will get 6 cards on this end step. Now moving on to his turn, he'll start off with a Delayed Blast Fireball. This will deal 2 damage to each of his opponents and each creature they control. After this, Seth will tap for 6 and cast Torrential Gearhulk. Its ETB target is the Delayed Blast Fireball, so he gets to cast it again for free, so all of his opponents and their things take 2 more damage. And this opens the way for Seth to turn his creature sideways and deal Xaxes to Sam. Yep, that is 8 damage, and Sam is dead. Seth will then play a Mountain as land for turn, and then he moves to discard.
So I'm going to be discarding Cleansing Wildfire, Firestone, Tend to Lookout, Brainstorm, Talisman of Creativity, Hivemind, Heaven Send, Geomancer's Gambit, Field of Ruin, and Mimic Complex.
Alright, after all that, we move to Cody's turn, and he plays a Xander's Lounge as land for turn. Then he'll cast Death in Heaven, and his target is obviously Seth. That all resolves, and then Cody will cast Genesis of the Daleks. Seth's not a fan of this though, and he will Supreme Will it. And since Cody is tapped out, he can't pay for it, so it's countered. The turn is then passed back to Seth. And he'll just go to combat and swing 13 at Cody, who takes it, and he's down to 2. Seth will then cast a Stormkiln Artist, and then pass the turn to Cody. Cody just checks to see if the top card of his library can get him out of this situation in any way. Unfortunately it can't, so he'll just concede to Seth, who is the winner with Riversong. Congratulations, you guys. Well everyone, there you have it. That was a really fun game. I really enjoyed watching that. Everybody got to do their thing, and Riversong really got to pull together that control win at the end. Let us know what you guys thought down in the comments below. If you did like it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We post every week. And don't forget to check out all of our links down in the description too. But that's all for us today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a smooth rest of your day.